particular has taken a bigger hit compared to other peers. Of course, the company has gone through its period of uncertainty. They had client-specific issues in their top accounts, pricing pressure, Brexit-related headwinds. But to get a sense of how FY18 will shape up for the company, we're now joined by Rostow Ravanan, the MD and CEO of Mindtree. Good afternoon, sir, and thanks so much for joining in. First, if you could corroborate the statement that we just heard from the CEO of Infosys. The clients are asking for a cost takeout to the tune of 30 to 40% in the legacy business. Is that something that Mindtree is also facing, and it would be representative of the industry pressures?
Good afternoon, and maybe before I respond to that question, I'd like to point out that while obviously the business across the industry and even for Mindtree has had some ups and downs, last year we were amongst the fastest growing companies in our industry.
Yes.
Our focus on digital has obviously delivered great successes for our customers. Coming to the question that you had, I think the theme is probably common, that on the traditional services, customers are under pressure to reduce costs. I'm not sure about the percentages. Probably that varies from company to company, and depending on the pricing at which the original deal was done, and so on and so forth. But yes, there is generally an expectation from customers to reduce prices on their traditional service lines and use the money that they get freed up by those cost savings and invest that behind the innovation agenda, which is why some of the newer technologies are generating a lot of traction with customers.
On an average, what would be the discounts the clients are asking, according to you, in the traditional business? If not 30 to 40%, what would be a fair range?
Actually, I'm not sure if you can compare like that. See, typically what happens is that contract is being done by, say, whatever, vendor A. Contract comes up for renewal, vendor B comes and pitches for it, and vendor B picks it up at a new price. So it's not as though existing vendors are always the only ones who are losing that. So it's not a discount per se. But what happens is vendor B also, in this example, does it in a very different way by introducing automation, by changing some processes, by implementing some different technology, etc. So that's what's happening right now.
All right, sir, that point's well taken then. But for FY18, I remember, the guidance that we're working with is low double digits. Are you sticking to that number? And also you have, a good amount of focus on digital. Last year you did around 18%. This year what it could be, because Q4 was a tad bit, softer.
Digital continues to do extremely well for us. Like you pointed out, last year it grew double the Mindtree average growth rate. It's a sweet spot for Mindtree. We are partnering with some of our clients on some of the biggest digital transformation programs that those organizations are going through. Continues to be a sweet spot for us even this year, and we remain committed to the guidance we gave at the beginning of the year, both on revenue and on margins.
Could you give us a sense on the margin improvement we should expect in FY18? All you told us in the conference call was that it will improve on a constant currency basis. But now, as we've entered FY18, would you like to at least, quantitative way, put a number to the margin improvement?
We don't give guidance officially, so that's why we did not put a number out there. But what we highlighted then, and the same philosophy stands even now, is firstly there's a conscious realization that our margins have dropped significantly and we need to do things to pull that back. Little bit of it is outside our control in terms of the environment factors, but many of the drivers are internal. And that's what we are working on to help get that margin picture stabilized, and so there will be a margin improvement this year compared to last year.
Oh, all right. So margin improvement to the tune of?
Like I said, we don't give guidance.
Oh.
All right, sir. I want to ask you about
every quarter when we announce the results.
All right. I want to ask you about another important thing. You told us that the hike cycle is going to be in that July 1st. Now, there are some rumors, some murmurs. Sources suggest that maybe the hikes could be postponed. Is that happening in your case?
Mindtree, but of course, for the industry.
Absolutely, for the industry on the whole. But for Mindtree, it was expected in July. Is that going to happen?
That's a debate we are having internally within Mindtree at the moment. So maybe in the next 2 weeks we'll have a decision.
So there's a possibility it could be postponed?
we haven't made any decision as yet. So the numbers were put up, like I said, the process got completed only very recently, so it has to be reviewed. So no decision taken.
All right, sir. No decision on that, but
now.
final questions I wanted to ask you about the buyback. You know, that's been supporting a lot of stocks in this kind of an environment. Are you still open to a buyback? Could we hear something on that in the coming fiscal? Your investors really want to hear about that.
It's one of the ideas that's under consideration. If you notice, from the time we went public in 2007 to now, our dividend payout ratio has gone up significantly. So our philosophy has always been to return cash to shareholders. We don't want to run with a very large cash balance. So holding cash is not our capital philosophy. Now that there are multiple options available in terms of returning cash to shareholders, the board and management will continue to evaluate all options. No decision has been taken as of today, but like I said, all options are open for consideration.
Okay, just one final question, sir. In the first 2 months of this financial year, if you could give us a sense of what has changed. Are you seeing incremental pressure in any particular service line or any particular vertical, or greater traction conversely in any particular area of interest of the company? What has changed since the last time we spoke to you that you'd like to update your shareholders and investors?
The year has started off on a very positive note for us. Overall, we had probably the best pipeline in the history of Mindtree on 31st March when we ended last year, and there's been good velocity within that pipeline. Some deals are won, some deals are lost, some deals have moved into the next stages of the pipeline. So there continues to be very good traction in the marketplace, both for our digital offerings as well as some of our traditional offerings.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for joining